Hello, I'm so glad to be back with you guys for yet another video. Let's get into it. So I hope that you all have been liking, commenting, and subscribing and turning on the notification bell, because I really would like it if you guys would become part of the Lavishly fam. I want a lot more Lavishlies. So yes. In today's video, as you guys know, I'm going off to college, so college is a big thing for me to talk about. There's not much else for me to talk about with this coronavirus mess going on, or else my videos would be a lot more entertaining. But something that a lot of people have been asking for and a lot of people have been asking me about is how to choose how to go to a school. Now again, like I say in all of my college and school related videos, I'm by no way an admissions counselor, so I cannot tell you the magic formula of what school to choose, and I cannot read you your future if you choose to go to some school. That's not what this is. But again, I know people who are involved in the system of higher education. I'm going through this myself, and I'd say I'm quite good at it, and both of my parents have pursued higher education, so I know what I'm talking about when it comes to higher education. And I'm just giving you some pieces of advice, again, strictly advice, on what you should look for and what you should do when choosing where to go to school, and how a good school is to pick after you've received all of your acceptances or denials, and you're sitting here with a pile of acceptances and you're like, well, how do I choose where to go next? Well, watch this video and I'm going to tell you how to choose where to go next. At least this is my advice to you. Now, by all means, do what you need to do for you. Base the criteria off of what you need to do. That's all you, boo. But I'm telling you how I suggest you do it and how I am doing it. Alrighty, so let's get into it. So the first one that I have for you guys is cost. So in cost, I'm going to break it down into two categories: cost of attending the institution and cost of living. Those are the two things that you need to factor in when you choose where to go. Now, by cost of tuition, this is pretty straightforward. What it's going to cost you to attend the university. You need to look at what the cost of attending all the universities is before aid, because in the reality of it, you never know your aid package or what you are or not going to get. And the second thing that you need to consider when reviewing the cost of university is the cost of living, because you're not just going to pay the university cost and that's going to be all the money. You have to pay for food in your dorm. You have to pay for essentials. You're going to need body wash, razors, blah blah blah, hair care, hair appointments. Some people want nail appointments. Some people, everybody's going to want to go somewhere, whether it be to parties or whether it be out to places in the town, wherever you go. You need to consider the cost of living where you are, because some people who have jobs and who are working jobs with degrees cannot even afford the cost of living, and they are not college students. So you definitely need to take that in mind when picking a place to live. And that is one reason why I chose to not live in Denver and why I chose to go somewhere else, because to live here, the price of living here is just extremely ridiculous. It's too expensive. Everything is so expensive. And I know working at my Starbucks job as a college student, I'm probably not going to get by and be able to fend for myself the way that I want to living in Colorado. So I had to make the choice to go somewhere else. I've heard that Atlanta is a little better than Denver, so I'm excited for that. And the cost of attending Clark Atlanta was definitely a lot cheaper than it was for DU, because for me to go to DU, if I would have stayed in state, I would have went to DU. And I did not apply to DU. However, I did know the cost of the institution was around $60,000. So it would have costed me double to stay in state than to go out of state. So I definitely chose to go out of state because of the cost of tuition. And then, like I said, on top of that, I also have to factor in the cost of living, because I'm not just paying the college. I have to pay for hair appointments. I have to pay for hair products. I have to pay for essentials such as soap, lotion, razors, stuff like that. I have to pay for food, because you're going to want food in your dorm. And this is not just a me staying in Denver. This is just a me being in college thing. You're going to want food in your dorm, because the CAF is not open 24/7, and you're not always going to walk or have the means to walk or go to a gas station or a convenience store to get food at 1 in the morning when you're hungry. So it's better to just have a snack bin or whatever and be able to do snacks that way. Just save on the cost of food. Yeah. Alrighty, so the next thing that you need to look for when deciding where to go to college is opportunity. But when I say opportunity, I mean opportunity for you. So with that being said, if you're going to a school and it says, let's say they're the top one in STEM producing professionals, but you want to be in fashion design. So that's obviously not the best and the best opportunity for you, because if you also got accepted to a school that's #1 in fashion design, you should probably go there because it's going to have the best opportunity for you. Just because it's rated #1 in America doesn't necessarily mean anything for you. You have to do what's best for you. Statistics means nothing. We don't ever fall into or adhere to statistics. None of us are going to be like successful if we live our lives based off of a statistic. Just because, let's say, Harvard is the #1 school in America, it does not mean that Harvard is the best educational opportunity and choice for everybody. That's not the case, because you have to do what's going to have the best opportunity for you, and not just educational. I just mean as a person. You need to go somewhere where they have the best opportunities for you to learn, grow, and achieve. Yes, and I mean in your field, in the classroom, that's obviously most important, but also for you as a person. They need to have opportunities for you to develop and become the person that you want to be, because as persons, we are not just degrees, we are not just pieces of paper, we are not just employees that work for a field, we are people. So you need to go somewhere that has opportunities for you to become that person, made up of your degree and whoever else you want to be. You need to go somewhere that has opportunity for you. Like, I chose to be on the AUC because of the fact that it had a lot of great network opportunities for me, and opportunities for me to get involved with the political science field, with it being at the heart of Atlanta and things like that. Civil rights is big in Atlanta, and that's what I want to be. I want to be a civil rights attorney and further the nonprofit that I have right now. And so that's really what I want to do. Well, it's not a technical nonprofit, just my organization. Let me say that. I want to further my organization and become a civil rights attorney. Thus, being in Atlanta was the best choice for me. I got accepted to Clark Atlanta, and I'm not just going there because of the educational opportunities, but the opportunities they have for me as a person, having great mentors, having other great educated Black people around me, and having like a lot of great extracurricular opportunities for me that are going to help learn and grow me as a person. Because I feel like being successful, you're not just going to be successful because of the education you receive with your degree. You're going to be successful because of the opportunities and the skills that you've learned in college. And I feel like extracurriculars and having like different things to get involved in that are still meaningful help build that person that's going to help you be successful outside of college. So the next one that I have is location. So I was accepted to schools all across the country. I was accepted to school in California. I didn't apply anywhere in Denver. I was accepted to schools in the South. I was also accepted to schools on the East Coast. So me and my family decided that because of the person I am and the way that I was raised and the lifestyle that I've lived, I was not ready to live on the East Coast, because on the East Coast, everything is faster, like life is meaner, and you got to know how to play the game. And I just didn't know how to play the game. I'm not going to say that I know how to play the game in Atlanta either, but because of the choice that I've made and the opportunities that were given to me as far as where I was accepted, I figured that going to Atlanta would be the best choice for me, and that trying to pursue Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland was probably not going to be the best choice for me because of the location and where it was. And because I did not know anybody, and I would be over 18 hours from my dad and plus that from my mom. So I really wouldn't have anyone within reach of me. So they decided that would not be the best for me, because if anything were to happen, they would not be in close distance to get to me in time of an emergency or time of need. But being in Atlanta, it's a little more feasible for both of my parents, considering my dad lives in Louisiana. So I have more opportunities to be connected, and I have family and church members that I know in Georgia as well. So that's also where some support comes in. So I have those opportunities. I just did not have those in any other state. So location definitely doesn't matter. Like, I know that a lot of people want to get away from the nest and they just want to be completely on their own, but I'm telling you, college is not that time. Like, you want to go somewhere where you're going to have a good support system, because you're going to need them at one time or another for various of different reasons. And you want to have that available to you than having to struggle your way all through college, because that's not going to be enjoyable. It's not going to be fun, and it's going to begin to stress you out and take a toll on you. So I definitely went somewhere where I knew I was going to have good support, and it was going to be just a good location for me, something that I was ready to take on as a person, because at the end of the day, I am going to be on my own. Like, I'm not going to have somebody there with me. Like, I'm no longer going to have my parents or whatever with me all the time. So I had to learn how to be on my own. And I felt like going from living with my parents to being on my own and going to Baltimore was probably not going to be the best choice for me, which is why I chose to go to Atlanta. Because I'm telling you now, location really matters when picking where you want to go to college. And you might also want to look at the weather. I know that's not as big of a thing, but for me it is, because I have health problems. I cannot live in places that get too cold and have too drastic of temperature changes. And as you know, on the East Coast, if you know anything about the East Coast, you know those winters get nasty. And with my health problems, I probably shouldn't be living there because I would be in the hospital a lot. Sorry, y'all. This was wiping something on my scarf. But yeah, that's why I chose Atlanta, because of the location and that it was going to serve me better as a person. Alrighty, so let's get into the next one. So the next one that I have for you guys is compatibility. So this kind of goes back to the talk of me talking about, like, I really wouldn't see myself at a PWI, and there's certain schools that I would like to attend. So compatibility just basically means like making sure that the university and the kind of place that it is and what it offers and what it has and what it doesn't have and just the nature of everything is all compatible with who you are as a person. Like, I know some girls that did not go to Spelman because it wasn't compatible with them as a person, because of the fact that it was all girls, and because of the fact that they couldn't play sports at their school and they weren't allowed to play sports at other schools on the AUC, is what I was told. Like, the only other sport I think they can do is the dance at Morehouse and the cheer at Morehouse, but that's because that's like interconnected. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, it's not... That'd be like a girl wanting to play on the basketball team at Clark or Morehouse. Like, I don't think that's allowed. And I'm just hearing this. I'm just relaying this by word of mouth because I know people that do go to Spelman, and I know people that just got accepted to Spelman and have done their research and have said that they ultimately chose not to go to Spelman or have transferred from Spelman because of the fact that it wasn't compatible with them being, with it being an all-girls school. And that's ultimately why some people didn't apply, and the fact that they couldn't play sports there. Like, you have to make sure that the university is compatible with you. Every experience is not for everybody. Just like a PWI experience is not for me. I have to be around people of different walks of life, and I have to have some sort of normality and some sort of remnants of me around me. And I feel like going to an HBCU, that was really going to do it for me in that community and stuff like that. That is why I'm compatible with a HBCU and not a PWI. And that's what I mean by compatibility. You have to know who you are as a person and know what the university, college, whatever it is offering for you. And you have to make sure that those two coincide. Like, again, some people could not see themselves going to Spelman or Morehouse because it is not a co-ed school and they do not want that kind of educational experience. Therefore, they figured out that that's not what they want before they went, applied, and accepted the offer there. Like, I feel that's important, because if you commit to a school, like, even if you're only there at semester and you're able to transfer at spring semester, it's gonna feel like a long semester of your life. And trust me, you don't want to have bad memories of your first semester of college. Like, that's the worst thing ever. You want to be having a lot of fun your first semester of college of your freshman year. You don't want to be thinking of, when is winter break? When is it going to be spring transfer time so I can just move and be out of the school? Like, you have to know yourself as a person, and you have to be honest with yourself about who you are and what your expectations are and what you are and are not willing to do, because that's going to make all the difference in your college experience and what you get out of college. Because if it's not compatible with you and you still decide to go there, well, chances are you're probably not going to like it. You have to know what you look for, what's important to you. So because having a community and because having a lot of extracurriculars and a balance between having fun and also getting an education was important to me, that's why I chose to end up picking Clark. Because I watched the videos, I talked to people, I went to college fairs, and I figured out the kind of environment and the vibe that Clark is throwing. And I figured that that would be best for me and it would help me grow as a person. It is compatible. It is compatible for me. And that is why I ended up ultimately deciding to go to Clark Atlanta. So the next one that I have is you. You should not be making your college decision based off of a boyfriend, girlfriend, or relationship with a significant other. Because I'm telling you, once y'all get on that campus and like life goes, it's going to be just like high school. Like, they're going to find somebody else and they're going to move on. But this is real life times 10. Like, this is high school times 10. People have actual jobs. People have internships. People are ready to make life-changing decisions in college. And sometimes you're not part of those life-changing decisions. And I don't feel like you should attend any university for the sake of being with the person. Because if it's meant to be, it'll be, even if it's 5,000 miles apart. That's the way that I feel about it. And I feel like you shouldn't force anything to be. And if it's really real, then it'll still be there when y'all are chasing your bag. Because what you have to realize, especially going into college, is that you are top priority. You need to be doing what's best for you. You don't need to be doing what's part of the hype. You don't need to be doing for your friends, your significant others, your parents, your grandparents, your aunts and uncles, and what everybody else is thinking and telling you to do. Because let me tell you, I used to be some dumb junior who thought, oh, me and my boyfriend at the time, he's gonna go to Morehouse, I'm gonna go to Spelman, blah, blah, blah. We're gonna live happily ever after. Yeah, that dream fell through real quick, needless to say. I'm not gonna get into that. But yes, that happened, and I used to be that person. It ain't real. It ain't real, y'all. So don't do that. Don't go to school based off of a significant other, and don't go to school based off of friends, because they may be like, girl, we're best friends. We ride or die. We in this till the end. Blah, 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 blah. All this, and y'all get to college and they switch up and y'all just grow apart. Like, that happens. People grow apart. But the person you should never grow apart from is you. You should never be making your decisions for your life and something that's going to be guiding the rest of your life based off of another person. I'm telling you, that's not the way to go. Like, I'm in a relationship right now, and I'm not making my decision of where I want to go or what I want to pursue based off of that relationship. Because, again, if the relationship is still real, it'll be there by the time I have this degree and I'm getting this bag, okay? Because that's the most important thing, is that you're doing that. And you don't need to let other people influence you. I don't care where your parents went. My mom went to an HBCU. She went to Oakwood University, but she never tried to influence me, nor would I have let her influence me to go to Oakwood University, because it's not compatible with me. I just never was big on going to like a religious-based school, because if you don't know, Oakwood University is a Seventh-day Adventist school, and I was never big on going there, because you're gonna let people talk you into stuff. And you're going to end up stuck with something that you don't even want. And at the end of the day, it's not affecting them, it's affecting you. So at the end of the day, you need to have your best interests at heart. Because, for example, my dad wanted me, he was real strong about, at first, me pursuing Georgetown. He was strong about me staying in state because of a lot of circumstances and things that were going on at the time. And I stood adamant and I stood my ground, because I know what I've been working for all 4 years. Yes, the college location and the college choice may have changed, but what I was working for didn't change. I had been working to go to the school of my dreams. I had been working to go to whatever school I wanted to, so that if any school I decided I wanted to go to, they couldn't deny me the opportunity, because I had worked so hard. And I decided I wanted to go to an HBCU, so I didn't even apply to any in-state schools, because none of them appealed to me. I wasn't doing it. It was like a rebellious thing. It was just that, like, none of the schools like interest me. And I was like, I'm not going to be in debt. I'm not going to have debt to my name. I'm not going to waste 4 years of my life at a place I don't even want to be. Then he wanted me to go to Xavier. And for a while, Xavier was cool, because at the time I was waitlisted to Clark Atlanta. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to Xavier, blah, blah, blah. But once I got that acceptance to Clark, yeah, I definitely was going to Clark, because that was where my heart was at. You have to make this decision during this time for you. You don't need to be making decisions based on who's going where and who's telling you what. Because a lot of people are like, oh, Clark, like, that's not even one of the top HBCUs. Like, you got into Xavier, you got into Fisk, you even got into Morgan, you got into Shaw, you got into all these schools, and you choose Clark. Yes, I did. And I proudly and I happily choose Clark, and I choose it over and over again, because that was the decision that I made for myself. And I'm not going to let anybody tell me different. So I know people, like, I'm even in group chats with girls that are like, oh, my aunt or my uncle or my this and that is telling me Clark is not as good of a school. Okay, and it doesn't matter, because, again, statistics are not everything. Just because Spelman is the #1 HBCU does not mean it is the best choice for everybody. I've heard a lot of people say that, oh, well, it's not Spelman. Okay. Like, no shade thrown, but I don't feel like you have to go to a #1 rated school just to get a #1 rated education. Because is it true that you're not getting as quality of an education because you're not going to Harvard and you're going to Spelman? Because Harvard is the #1 in the country. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, I'm trying to draw the connections. And this has nothing to do with me, like, shots fired. at like Xavier or any of those schools, or like Spelman or nothing. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get you guys to understand that statistics don't mean anything when you're making your decision. You need to look yourself in the mirror and focus on the person that you see looking back at you. You don't see a statistic, you don't see an aunt, you don't see an uncle, you don't see a friend, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whatever. You see you, and you need to make that decision based off of you. Because again, Spelman may be the number one HBCU for some people. That is the number one HBCU for some people. That would be in their best interest to go. But it's not for everybody. Okay, so like, and neither is Clark for everybody, neither is Fisk for everybody, neither is Harvard for everybody. So you need to make that decision based off you, because you'll end up screwing your life around and cheating yourself out of so many opportunities because you're making decisions based off of other people. You need to make the decision solely thinking off of what is going to get me where I need to be at the end of these 4 years when I'm sitting at somebody's commencement ceremony getting ready to accept my degree and go into the workforce. That's what you need to be thinking about. Not what mom wants, not what dad wants, not what brother, sister, boyfriend, girlfriend, none of those people. You don't need to be thinking about what they want, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because you're the only one who has to live with this choice. Yes, I'm not saying don't take advice. I'm not saying don't take direction, but at the end of the day, go where your heart's telling you, because 9 times out of 10, our heart beats for us. Well, all the time, our heart is beating for us. So trust your gut instinct, because yourself is never gonna do you wrong 9 times out of 10 if you listen to yourself. All right, so that's all I have for you guys in today's video. That's just my little tidbit on what I think you guys should be thinking about and considering, and definitely what I considered when I was making those choices to go to Clark Atlanta and things like that. That is definitely the things that I was looking at when I decided where I wanted to go. And I feel like if you guys follow some of those tips and some of the ones that you found so helpful for yourself, that you will definitely end up making an informed choice. I can't wait to hear where all of you are going. I'm so happy for the class of 2020. We got this, and I'm so excited to see where you all end up and see what you guys end up doing in college and amazing things. And I'm looking forward to sharing that journey with you guys. Until next time, live lavishly. Peace.